Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our Spring 2015 commissioning ceremony. My name is Cadet Alex Hurd, your Master of Ceremonies. On behalf of the Military Science Department Chair, Lieutenant Colonel Glenn Howey, and the entire ROTC program, I would like to welcome our cadets, cadre, staff, parents, families, and special guests. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the arrival of the official party and remain standing for the national anthem and invocation.
Bow your heads, please. Dear God, I want to thank this time to honor those men and women who have served our country, and to thankfully, Lord, I just want to thank you for these lieutenants on the stage today, that they have worked so hard in your name, and that they are finally here, God. And please bless those who are going in combat, for those, our new lieutenants, who may face new challenges, and know in your name that you will always protect them. In your name we pray. Amen.
Please be seated. At this time, I'd like to introduce our Military Science Department Chair, Lieutenant Colonel Glenn Howey.
Major General Haston, President and Mrs. Noland, Dr. Bach, Dr. Bishop, Dr. Depew, Mr. Darden from Congressman Rowe's office, faculty, families, and guests. Thank you for being here today to celebrate the achievement of these 15 young men and women who are about to become the newest second lieutenants in the United States Army. This day is the culmination of 4 years of incredibly hard work and is a testament to their dedication and leadership abilities. On behalf of the entire Military Science Department, we are extremely proud of them, and I'm sure you are as well. There are key moments in history where Americans are tested under extraordinary circumstances and required to exercise perseverance. In 1776, the father of our country, General George Washington, was challenged by a far larger army that was better supplied, better trained, and possessed more experienced leaders. Washington's army suffered multiple defeats to a seemingly superior British army. Over time, however, he was able to keep his Continental Army together and received support of local militias through his perseverance. Washington was not necessarily the best tactician on the battlefield, but he gained the trust and respect of those around him through his refusal to give up when times got difficult and victory seemed uncertain. Washington persevered. In today's Army, perseverance is codified into the U.S. Army warrior ethos. I will always place mission first. I will never accept defeat. I will never quit. I will never leave a fallen comrade. If I have one parting piece of advice to you soon-to-be lieutenants, perseverance must always be a central element of your character. Times will get tough, both on the battlefield and often within garrison. Remember the warrior ethos. It will serve you well in the Army and in life. I'm confident you 15 soon-to-be lieutenants have the right stuff and will lead your soldiers well. This is important because we're potentially at another key moment in the history of our country, with instability in many parts of the world and an uncertain future. However, the American Army, upon which these 15 young men and women are about to officially join as officers, has always answered the nation's call and persevered. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct honor to introduce our guest speaker today. Major General Terry M. Max Haston was appointed Tennessee's 75th Adjutant General on 1 January 2010. He's responsible for the supervision of the Military Department of Tennessee that includes the Army National Guard, the Air National Guard, the Tennessee Emergency Management Agency, and the Tennessee State Guard. Before his appointment, Major General Haston served as the Assistant Adjutant General, Army and the Deputy Chief of Staff for Training and Operations, J3 for the Joint Forces Headquarters, Tennessee. Upon leaving active duty in 1983, Major General Haston joined the Tennessee Army National Guard, where he commanded Company M, 3rd of the 278th Armored Cavalry Regiment in Rockwood, Tennessee. In 1987, Major General Haston joined the Active Guard Reserve Program and served as the third of the 278th ACR training officer and the S3 until joining the 278th Regimental Staff in 1989. In 1992, he assumed the duties as the Regimental S3 until 1997, when he became the commander of the 3rd Squadron, 278th ACR. Simultaneously, Major General Haston served as a training officer for the Tennessee Army National Guard. Following the completion of the Resident War College at Carlisle Barracks, Pennsylvania, Major General Haston became the 7th commander of Tennessee's largest unit, the 278th Armored Cavalry Regiment, headquartered in Knoxville, Tennessee. After leaving command, Major General Haston was assigned as a Deputy Chief of Staff for Operations and J3, Joint Forces Headquarters, Tennessee. In May 2005, Major General Haston mobilized and deployed as the Chief of Reserve Components, Multinational Corps, Iraq. Upon completion of his tour in the Middle East, he returned as the J3 Joint Forces Headquarters, Tennessee. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our guest speaker, Major General Haston.
I have dual citizenship. I live in Knox County and I work in Nashville. I have a home in Wilson County. Down in Wilson County, I live in a little community called Gladeville, and there's a resident there, and you may have not heard of him. His name's Charlie Daniels. Charlie's a good friend of mine, and as he'd say, ain't it great to be alive and be in Tennessee today? You know, and you cadets are going to see this, you will become, whether you're a history major or not, you will become a student of history. And if you don't, you're missing an opportunity. But I have been a student of history, and one of the people that I have studied was Caesar. And Caesar was a general, and he gave long speeches, and they killed him. So I'm not going to give very long speeches today, but I'm just going to tell you that I'm very, very glad to be here. 5 years from now, you won't remember who spoke, because I don't remember who spoke at my commissioning. But I hope I can give you some advice today that maybe you can kind of put in your tool bag and use in the future. First, I want to thank President Nolan for his diligence, perseverance, and being a bulldog and standing, keeping this program. Whether most of you know this or not, we stood to lose 3 ROTC programs here in Tennessee. East Tennessee State University here, Tennessee Tech, and University of Tennessee Martin. And being an ROTC graduate from Middle Tennessee State University, I'm very passionate about ensuring that we keep these programs alive. Tennessee is known to be the volunteer state. And that's not because of some football team down in Knoxville. That's because of what we have done with our service to this country over the years. And so I just want to make sure that these programs stay viable and continue to produce great men and women to serve the armed forces of this country. It's imperative that we do that. ROTC programs does not need to be located where it's a social engineering project. And I have argued that point, and I hope that the leadership in Washington, D.C. and at Cadet Command has understand that. And I promise you, President Nolan, I will do everything in my power in this position to ensure that we maintain a strong program and you have our support. The next people that I want to address is the most important folks in this crowd. And it's not you guys, sorry. It's the parents, it's the brothers and sisters, girlfriends, and supporters of these young men and women who have got them to where they are today. If you thought that you have accomplished all of this on your own, you are mistaken. It took all these great folks out here, the love and support and the feeling and the tough love to get you to where you're at today. And let me tell you, you're going to need their support in the future. So when you walk out here today, like I walked across the stage about 38 years ago and said, I have arrived, well, I hadn't even begun that journey. And so you're beginning a journey, but don't forget these great people here. The other thing is that you need each other. Maintain contact with each other. In my commissioning class, there was 41 people, and I was in a December class, and I still maintain contact with over half of those folks today. I've been around this world a couple of 3 times, and I don't think there's a place that I've ever been that I didn't run into one of my classmates or knew that he or she was there, and I could pick up the phone and call them and say, hey, can you give me some advice? Can you help me out? So make sure that you maintain the contact with each other. Whether you liked each other during school or not, maintain contact with each other. Your life's about to change, whether you realize it or not. And you probably don't really know what you're getting into. But I'm going to tell you, the program here at East Tennessee has prepared you as well as it possibly can, or you can be at this point in time. I was watching a movie the other day, and it's kind of apropos because the NFL draft just ended this past weekend, but there was a movie that Kevin Costner played in called Draft Day. Some of you may have seen it. And he was making some dope deal with some other football team, and he said, that deal's off the table. We live in a different world than we left in 30 seconds ago. Well, we live in a different world today than we left in 30 seconds ago. Our military, our Army is a different place. It's not the same Army that I came into. It's not the same Army that 10 years ago that your leaders here at East Tennessee State University, your instructors, were part of. Our organization has changed. Where it used to be squads and platoons, crews, still is that, but it's changed so much. The cyber world has changed us. Unmanned aerial vehicles. We're no longer, I'm a tanker. I'm a heavy metal guy. I've spent my entire career in the cavalry. So I believe in tanks and Bradleys and helicopters. But that's not dominant on the battlefield anymore. What's dominant on the battlefield is folks that can operate computers and fly unmanned aerial vehicles and apply that intelligence gained to defeating an enemy. The weapon systems and equipment, the communications. It's an instant voice. Nobody picks up a radio anymore and puts a frequency in it and keys the net. I mean, it's done on a lower scale, but it's not done like it used to be. Everything is digital now. I just completed an exercise with one of our brigades this past summer, and they went through the entire exercise and didn't make the first radio call. Everything was done on digits. So that's scary to me. And it's scary because I don't understand it. You will understand it. The enemy that we face today is no longer the Soviets that I faced back in the 70s and 80s. You know, I sat on a border in Fulda, Germany, and watched the Russians watch me. And that border's no longer there. In fact, I drove across it about a year ago. Just haven't seen that wall being there, and it's not there anymore. I could take you to my GDP in Germany today, where I was at in the early 80s. Take you to the guest house that served the coldest beer and the best schnitzel in Germany. And I can tell you where that was at. Still there today. But it's not the Soviets that we faced once before, even though there is a threat there. And there, as I was with the commander of USER here last year in Split, Croatia, we were talking about what was going on in the Baltic region. And he asked me, he said, what do you think about it? And I said, sir, this is General Breedlove. And I said, sir, did you ever see the movie Blues Brothers? He looked at me so funny. Here's a 4-star general. Kind of like, what's this smart remark he's making? And I said, Putin's putting a band back together. And that's exactly what he was doing. And so I make those statements to tell you that the enemies that we face today and that you're going to see in the future is not what I've seen. It's a nondescript radical, has zero value for life, and will freely give their life to validate their cause, whatever it may be. They don't wear a uniform, and they don't appear to be organized, but don't let that fool you. Their network is absolutely one of the most sophisticated in the world, and they're connected worldwide. I have my intelligence folks every week pull down, do intelligence draws, and they publish Al-Qaeda, ISIS publish newspapers. They publish weekly flyers. It looks like your church bulletin. That's how organized these folks are. The soldiers that you will lead in the future are different soldiers too than I had to lead. At Fort Hood, Texas in 1979, I had a tank platoon. All but me and one other person in that platoon had not been in jail. Most of these kids that I got had the option of going to jail or going in the Army. You won't see that today. That doesn't happen. What you're going to see today is a soldier that's educated, inquisitive, complicated, and our slice of our society today, with all the advantages and issues that come with that. They're going to ask you questions. It's not an army anymore of where you go do this because I told you to go do it. It's an army of explanation. It's an army of teaching and learning. So what advice can I offer you? Well, the first thing is you're on public stage every minute of your life today, public and private. And that's thanks to cell phones, and that's thanks to the electronic media. When I have to put out messages to my force on Twitter and on Facebook, and I have to have somebody do it because I can't, I have to have my public affairs office do it, that's pretty tough. Normally a commander can issue directives and it gets put out in a memo and everybody follows it. I can put a piece of paper out with a memo and a directive and half the force may read it. I put it out on Facebook and I'm getting responses from spouses less than 30 minutes later. So it's an effective medium. But you're on the public stage every minute. The IG is around every corner. And if you don't know who the IG is, that's the Inspector General. That's the guy, that's the military ethics police. And they're around every single corner. Now, how do you combat that? And I'm not saying you should combat it, but what you have to do is pay attention to it. You have to ruthlessly enforce the chain of command. You have to make your soldiers use their chain of command. You have to be that chain of command. You have to lean down to them. You have to make sure that they know that they have the ability to come and talk to you and your platoon sergeant and your company commander and so forth to make sure that their needs are being met. I have young soldiers today that thinks their chain of command is section sergeant, congressman. And that's the way it works out. It just happens that way. You got to be prepared to deal with that. I'm a third generation military child. My dad did 44 years in the service, my grandfather did 21. And between my armor officer basic course that I attended and my first assignment at Fort Hood, I'll never forget the morning my dad leaning on the porch. And he was an old crusty sergeant, retired sergeant major. And he was leaning there smoking a cigarette, something that nobody does anymore. But he was sitting there looking at me, and it's the first time I ever saw him get tearful. And he looked at me and he said, son, when you get to Fort Hood, you find your platoon sergeant, you put your head under his arm and you don't come out for a year. And when you do, you'll be a leader that your men will trust. Be, know, and do. That was a 1980s, 90s Army slogan. But it still rings true today. Be the officer, be the soldier that you want your leaders to be and that you want your soldiers to follow. Know what they have to do. If you ever read a book written by Erwin Rommel called Attacks, he talks about living with his soldiers. eating what his soldiers eat, training where they train. Because unless you can know and experience and feel what they're doing, you can't make logical decisions, because you're going to make decisions from a comfort zone. Don't do that. Be with them. And then set the example. Be out front. And always be in the learning mode. Never turn that off. I learn something new every single day. Some things I don't want to learn that I get forced on, but I learn something every day. Now, this is one of the busiest days of your life. Right now, your mind is miles away, and I got that. And that's a good thing. But today, celebrate your success, because you spent 4 years, some of you like myself probably spent longer in getting to where you're at today. But celebrate your success. You've earned it. Because if you hadn't earned it, you wouldn't be sitting where you're sitting at, being ready to be commissioned in the greatest armed forces that this world has ever seen. Be with your family and thank them again for their loyalty and support. And make sure that you thank your military science instructors. They led you down this road. They got you to where you are today. And you will remember them the rest of your life. And I mean, you will remember them the rest of your life. God bless each and every one of you for being here today and the contributions that you've made to these young people. Your future's bright. I'll see you on the high ground.
General Haston, on behalf of East Tennessee State University, the Military Science Department here, sincerely appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to come and share some words with us. And thank you for all your support of our program. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to now present the ETSU Army ROTC cadets who will be commissioned today as second lieutenants in the United States Army. The commissionees are Cadet Alex Boggs, Cadet Jeffrey Coyne, Cadet Alex Dayton, Cadet Alexander Fields, Cadet Joshua Ford, Cadet David Lilly, Cadet Nicholas Miller, Cadet Parker Moore, Cadet Darren Owenby, Cadet Zachary Schutte, Cadet Jackson Scott, Cadet Sean Shelton, Cadet Zachary Skipworth, Cadet Jared Walls, Cadet Amber Warren. Lieutenant Colonel Howe will now administer the oath of office.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Clifton Alexander Boggs.
I, Jeffrey Thomas Boyd.
I, Jason Alexander Dayton.
I, Alexander Clark Fields.
I, Joshua Benjamin Ford. I, David Isaac Lilly.
I, Nicholas Michael Miller.
I, Parker Garrison Ward.
Hi, Darren Anthony Allen.
I, Zachary Douglas Shooting.
Hi, Jackson Avery Scott. Hi, Sean Scott Shelton.
I, Zachary Isaiah Skipward.
I, Garrett Russell Wall.
I, Amber Ann Warren.
Having been appointed an officer in the Army of the United States to the grade of second lieutenant, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, and that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office upon which I am about to enter. So help me God.
All military personnel, please rise. Attention orders. The President of the United States has reposed special trust and confidence in the patriotism, valor, fidelity, and abilities of Alex Boggs, Jeffrey Coyne, Alex Dayton, Alexander Fields, Joshua Ford, David Lilly, Nicholas Miller, Parker Moore, Darren Owenby, Zachary Shooting, Jackson Scott, Sean Shelton, Zachary Skipworth, Jared Walls, and Amber Warren, and hereby appoints them to the grade of Second Lieutenant in the United States Army, to rank as such the 8th day of May 2015. These officers will therefore carefully and diligently discharge the duties of office to which they have been appointed by doing and performing all manner of things thereunto belonging. And I do strictly charge and require those officers and other personnel of lesser rank to render such obedience as is due an officer of the grade and position. These officers are to observe and follow such orders and directions from time to time as may be given by the President of the United States of America or other superior officers, acting in accordance with the laws of the United States of America. This commission is continued in force during the pleasure of the United States of America under provisions of those public laws relating to officers of the United States of America and the component thereof in which their employment is made. Signed, the Honorable John McHugh, Secretary of the Army. Please be seated. Second Lieutenant Boggs, we've pinned by his parents, Cliff and Evangeline Boggs, his sister Whitney Boggs, and his brother Adam Boggs. Cadet Boggs served as the S4 Supply Officer and the S2 Recruiting Officer and Special Projects Officer, and held the rank of Cadet Captain of the Buccaneer Battalion. The son of Cliff and Evangeline Boggs of Riceville, Tennessee, Alex has earned his Bachelor of Arts degree in International Affairs and is receiving his United States Army commission as a Second Lieutenant, Branch Detailed Infantry and Military Intelligence. His career goals are either to be in a Ranger Battalion or Special Forces and at least achieve the rank of Major. His personal goals are to be successful in the military and in his future civilian career, receive a master's degree in International Affairs, and eventually raise a family in East Tennessee. He would like to thank his mother, father, sister, and brother for all the love and support they have given him over the years, and for always challenging him to be a better man, leader, and soldier. He would also like to recognize his grandfather, Army Sergeant First Class Retired Cliff Boggs Sr., who served 28 years. His grandfather, Private First Class John E. Legier, who was a World War II veteran and a Purple Heart recipient. His uncle David Combs, former Air Force Senior Airman. His closest and dearest friend, Army Sergeant Yeda Kasava, who is currently serving. And his other good friend, Army Specialist Nicholas Crook, who is currently serving as well. Ladies and gentlemen, Second Lieutenant Alex Boggs. Lieutenant Boggs will receive his first salute from his grandfather, Army Sergeant First Class Retired Cliff Boggs Sr. Army Lieutenants, Lieutenant Boggs has been designated as an ROTC Distinguished Military Graduate. Second Lieutenant Coyne will be pinned by his parents, Jeff and Paula Coyne, and Robert and Rhonda Delaroy. Jeff Coyne served as a Battalion Assistant S3 and as a platoon leader, holding the rank of Cadet Captain of the Buccaneer Battalion. The son of Jeff Coyne Sr. and Rhonda Delaroy of Coventry, Rhode Island, Jeff has earned a Bachelor of Science degree in History and is receiving his United States Army commission as a Second Lieutenant in the Armor Branch. Upon completion of the Armor Basic Officer Leaders Course, he will be assigned to Troop H, 2nd Squadron, 278th Armored Cavalry Regiment in Tennessee Army National Guard. His career goals include service in the U.S. Army as a platoon leader and company commander. He would like to thank his family and friends for their support in his efforts to attain his goal of becoming an Army officer. Ladies and gentlemen, Second Lieutenant Jeffrey Coyne. Lieutenant Coyne will receive his first salute from Private First Class Robert Delory Sr. Please join Lieutenant Coyne on stage to be recognized for all you've done on his behalf. Second Lieutenant Dayton will be pinned by his parents, Jay and Jennifer Church, and his sister, Lauren Church. Alex Dayton served as the Cadet Battalion Commander and held the rank of Cadet Lieutenant Colonel of the Buccaneer Battalion. The son of Jay and Jennifer Church of Kingsport, Tennessee, Alex has earned a Bachelor of Arts degree in Anthropology and is receiving his United States Army commission as a Second Lieutenant in the Infantry. Upon completion of the Infantry Officer Basic Leaders Course, he will be stationed in Hawaii. His career goals include service in the U.S. Army as a platoon leader and company commander. After service in the Army, he hopes to become a teacher, travel the world, or a combination of the two. He would like to thank all those who supported him in his efforts to attain his goal of becoming an Army officer, and particularly his family, friends, fellow cadets, and ETSU cadre. Ladies and gentlemen, Second Lieutenant Alex Dayton. Lieutenant Dayton will receive his first salute from Master Sergeant Gus Riley. Lieutenant Dayton has been designated as a ROTC Distinguished Military Graduate. Second Lieutenant Fields will be pinned by his mother, Angela Rendernick, grandparents Bob and Joe Templin, and brother Jeremy Fields. Alex Fields served as a battalion platoon leader and held the rank of Cadet Second Lieutenant in the Buccaneer Battalion. the son of Angela Rennernick and George Fields of Kingsport. Alex has earned a Bachelor of Science degree in Criminal Justice and Criminology and is receiving his United States Army commission as a second lieutenant in the Armor Branch. His career goals include service in the U.S. Army as a platoon leader and company commander. He hopes to retire from the Army or work for a federal agency after service in the Army. He would like to thank all those who supported him in his efforts to attain his goal of becoming an Army officer, in particular his mother, Angela. Ladies and gentlemen, Second Lieutenant Alex Fields. Lieutenant Fields will receive his first salute from his grandfather, Army Specialist Retired Bob Templin.
I guess 20 next time.
Second Lieutenant Ford will be pinned by his grandfather, Colonel Retired Tom Grimshaw and Cadet Sumo. Second Lieutenant Joshua Ford has served as the Assistant S3 in the Buccaneer Battalion and held the rank of Cadet Captain. The son of Kevin and Beth Ford of Greenback, Tennessee, Joshua has earned a Bachelor of Science degree in Sports and Leisure Management and is receiving his United States Army commission as a second lieutenant in the Armor Branch. He will be serving with L Troop, 3rd Squadron, 278th Armored Cavalry Regiment of the Tennessee Army National Guard. Upon graduation, he will pursue a career in sports administration as an athletic director for collegiate sports. He would like to thank everyone that has supported him along the way in becoming an Army officer. Ladies and gentlemen, Second Lieutenant Joshua Ford. Lieutenant Ford will receive his first salute from Staff Sergeant Parham Mir. Second Lieutenant Lilly will be pinned by his parents, Lieutenant Colonel Retired John and Jeannie Lilly. David Isaac Lilly served as both a battalion commander and S5 and held the rank of Cadet Lieutenant Colonel in the Buccaneer Battalion. The son of John and Jeannie Lilly of Johnson City, Tennessee, David has earned a Bachelor of Science degree in Physical Education and is receiving his United States Army commission as a second lieutenant in the infantry. Upon completion of the infantry officer basic course, he will be assigned to a post in Germany. He hopes to pursue research and exercise physiology after service in the Army, and later this summer he will be marrying the lovely Kristen Oglesby. He would like to thank all those who supported and tolerated him in his efforts to attain his goal of becoming an Army officer. Ladies and gentlemen, Second Lieutenant David Lilly. Lieutenant Lilly will receive his first salute from Master Sergeant Retired Mac Roberts. To be recognized for all you've done on his behalf. Brian, Evan, Rachel Lilly, and Kristen Oglesby. commissioned Army lieutenants, Lieutenant Lilly has been designated as an ROTC Distinguished Military Graduate. Second Lieutenant Miller will be pinned by his wife, Anna Miller, and his parents, Michael and Deborah Miller. Nicholas Miller served as the Cadet Battalion Command Sergeant Major. Nicholas is the husband of Anna Miller from Smyrna, Tennessee, and the son of Deborah and Michael Miller of Clarksville, Tennessee. Nicholas has earned a Bachelor of Science degree in Geography and is receiving his United States Army commission as a Second Lieutenant in the Corps of Engineers. His career goals include service in the U.S. Army as a platoon leader and company commander. He hopes to serve honorably and retire from the U.S. Army. He would like to thank his beautiful wife Anna for all those who supported him in his efforts to attain his goal of becoming an Army officer. Ladies and gentlemen, Second Lieutenant Nicholas Miller. Lieutenant Miller will receive his first salute from Master Sergeant Retired Mac Roberts. Would Ed and Kathy Zaborowski please join Lieutenant Miller on stage to be recognized for all you've done on his behalf? Second Lieutenant Moore will be pinned by his brother-in-law, John Lambert, and his sister-in-law, Crystal Moore. Parker Garrison Moore served as a battalion operations officer and held the rank of cadet major in the Buccaneer Battalion. The son of Kevin and Nicole Moore of Knoxville, Tennessee, Parker has earned a Bachelor of Arts degree in International Affairs and is receiving his United States Army commission as a Second Lieutenant in the Military Intelligence Branch. Upon completion of the Military Intelligence Officer Basic Course, he will be assigned to the HHT, 2nd Squadron, 278th Armored Cavalry Regiment of the Tennessee Army National Guard in Cookeville, Tennessee. His career goals include continuing his education at Tel Aviv University in Israel with a master's degree in diplomacy and security, service in the U.S. Army as a platoon leader and company commander, and to work in foreign relations and become a professor. He would like to thank his family for their unfailing support, cadre for their wisdom and guidance along the way, and his fellow cadets for the greatest friendship and experiences one could ever ask for. Ladies and gentlemen, Second Lieutenant Parker Moore. Lieutenant Moore will receive his first salute from his grandfather, Private First Class Charles Raymond Roberts. Would Kevin and Nicole Moore please join Lieutenant Moore on stage to be recognized for all you've done on his behalf? Second Lieutenant Owenby will be pinned by his father, Daryl Owenby. Darren Anthony Owenby served as platoon leader and held the rank of cadet lieutenant in the Buccaneer Battalion. The son of Daryl Owenby and Sherry Green of Harriman, Tennessee, Darren has earned a Bachelor of Science degree in Exercise Physiology and is receiving his United States Army commission as a second lieutenant in the Military Police Corps. Upon completion of the Military Police Officer Basic Course, he'll be assigned to an active duty unit in Hawaii. His career goals include service in the U.S. Army as a commissioned officer and eventually getting accepted to physical therapy school. His personal goals are to hike the entire Appalachian Trail and eventually hike the Himalaya Mountains. He would like to thank his entire family for their support in his collegiate career, and he especially wants to thank his mother and father for everything they've done to help him make it through to this point. Ladies and gentlemen, Second Lieutenant Darren Owenby. Lieutenant Owenby will receive his first salute from his father, Sergeant Daryl Owenby. Second Lieutenant Schutte will be pinned by his parents, Greg Schutte and Cheryl Hanks. Zach Schutte served as the Cadet Company Executive Officer and held the rank of Cadet First Lieutenant in the Buccaneer Battalion. The son of Greg Schutte and Cheryl Hanks of Johnson City, Tennessee, Zach has earned a Bachelor of Science degree in History and is receiving his United States Army commission as a second lieutenant in the infantry. His career goals include service in the U.S. Army as a platoon leader and company commander. After service in the Army, he hopes to become a park ranger, travel the world, or a combination of the two. He would like to thank all those who supported him in his efforts to attain his goal of becoming an Army officer, and particularly his family, friends, fellow cadets, and ETSU cadre. Ladies and gentlemen, Second Lieutenant Zach Schutte. Lieutenant Schutte will receive his first salute from his grandfather, Tech Sergeant Clarence Schutte. Would Kate and London Diddle please join Lieutenant Schutte on stage to be recognized for all you've done on his behalf? Second Lieutenant Scott will be pinned by his wife, Bailey Scott, and his parents, Eric and Casey Scott. Jackson Avery Scott served as a battalion training officer and held the rank of cadet major in the Buccaneer Battalion. The son of Eric and Casey Scott of Greenville, Tennessee, Jackson has earned a Bachelor of Science degree in Criminal Justice and Criminology. and is receiving his United States Army commission as a second lieutenant in military intelligence. Upon completion of the military intelligence basic officer course, he will be assigned to HHT 278th Armored Cavalry Regiment of the Tennessee Army National Guard in Knoxville, Tennessee. His career goals include service in the U.S. Army as a platoon leader and company commander. He hopes to serve in law enforcement while serving in the Army National Guard. He married Bailey Alexis Scott in December of 2012, and they both now reside in Johnson City, Tennessee. He would like to thank all those who supported him in his efforts to attain his goal of becoming an Army officer. Ladies and gentlemen, Second Lieutenant Jackson Scott. Lieutenant Scott will receive his first salute from Master Sergeant Gus Riley. Lieutenant Scott on stage to be recognized for all you've done on his behalf. Hayden Scott and Dottie Boone. As the top 20% of newly commissioned Army lieutenants, Lieutenant Scott has been designated as an ROTC Distinguished Military Graduate. Second Lieutenant Shelton will be pinned by his parents, Terry Moore, Jeffrey Shelton, and his sister, Lachey Shelton. Sean Scott Shelton served as Battalion S1 and held the rank of Cadet Captain. The son of Terry Moore and Jeffrey Shelton of Newport, Tennessee, Sean has earned a Bachelor of Science degree in Chemistry that is recognized by the American Chemical Society and is receiving his United States Army commission as an active duty second lieutenant in the Chemical Corps. His career goals include service in the U.S. Army as a company commander. He hopes to continue his education while serving the U.S. Army until retirement, and would like to thank all those who supported him in his efforts to attain his goal of becoming an Army officer, in particular God, his mother Terry Moore, and father Jeffrey Shelton, his sister Lachey Shelton, his aunts Jamie Manning and Vonda Phillips, his uncle Johnny Manning, his friends Corey White, Justin Fleener, Stephen Ford, the Buccaneer Battalion cadre, and including the staff, Deborah Donaldson, Angela Hare, and Mac Robbins. Ladies and gentlemen, Second Lieutenant Sean Shelton. Lieutenant Shelton will receive his first salute from Specialist Justin Fleener. Will Jamie Manning please join Lieutenant Shelton on stage to be recognized for all you've done on his behalf? Second Lieutenant Skipworth will be pinned by his parents, Howard and Cynthia Skipworth, and his grandmother, Ann Legadinos. Zachary Isaiah Skipworth served as company commander and held the rank of cadet captain for the Buck Battalion. Zachary is from Maryville, Tennessee, and is the son of Cynthia and Howard Skipworth, and brother to Brandy and Nicholas Skipworth. He is receiving a Bachelor of Science degree in Criminal Justice and Criminology. Zachary has been designated to the active component of the Army and Branch Field Artillery. Upon completion of BOLIC, he will be stationed at Fort Carson, Colorado. His career goals include attending and completing Ranger, Airborne, and Air Assault schools. He would like to serve as a Joint Fires Observer or a Fire Support Officer in the Ranger Battalion and hopes to serve in the Army long term. His personal goals include receiving a master's degree in Homeland Security, to work on federal law enforcement level, and hopefully run for local or state government. He would like to thank everyone who has helped him achieve the rank of Second Lieutenant. Ladies and gentlemen, Second Lieutenant Zachary Skipworth. Lieutenant Skipworth will receive his first salute from his grandmother, Lance Corporal Ann Legadinos. Lieutenant Skipworth would like to recognize everyone on stage for all they have done for him. Second Lieutenant Walls will be pinned by his fiancee, Brittany Boyd, and his son, Riker Walls, his parents, Russell and Donna Walls, and his brother, Brandon Walls. Jared Russell Walls served as the Assistant S3 and held the rank of Cadet Operations Sergeant Major for the Buccaneer Battalion. The son of Russell and Donna Walls of Damascus, Virginia, Jared has earned a Bachelor of Science degree in Criminal Justice and Criminology and is receiving his United States Army commission as a Second Lieutenant in the Field Artillery Branch. Upon completion of the Field Artillery Officer Basic Course, he'll be assigned to 1st Battalion, 181st Field Artillery of the Tennessee Army National Guard in Chattanooga, Tennessee. His career goals include service in the U.S. Army as a platoon leader and battery commander. He hopes to gain employment with the Department of Homeland Security. He will be married in July to the beautiful Brittany Nicole Boyd of Damascus, Virginia. He would like to thank all those who supported him in his efforts to attain his goal of becoming an Army officer, in particular his brother, his fiancee Brittany, and son Riker, and last but not least, his friend and roommate over the past 3 years, Parker Moore. Ladies and gentlemen, Second Lieutenant Jared Walls. Lieutenant Walls received his first salute from Sergeant Brian Byers. Everyone on stage for all they have done for him. Second Lieutenant Warren will be pinned by her parents, Johnny and Elizabeth Warren, and her sister, Megan Warren, and her friend, Cadet Amanda Lackey. Amber Ann Warren served as a Battalion Assistant S2 Intelligence and Recruiting Officer and held the rank of Cadet Captain in the Buccaneer Battalion. The daughter of Johnny and Elizabeth Warren of Tiptonville, Tennessee, Amber has earned a Bachelor of Arts degree in History and is receiving her United States Army commission as a Second Lieutenant in the Military Intelligence Branch, Detailed Field Artillery. Her career goals include service in the U.S. Army as a Field Artilleryman in Korea, working up to becoming an intelligence officer, and eventually retire from the service. She hopes to learn enough in the military to excel in politics in the future. She would like to thank all those who supported her in her efforts to attain her goal of becoming an Army officer, in particular, her family, friends, sisters, and battle buddy. Ladies and gentlemen, Second Lieutenant Amber Warren. Lieutenant Warren will receive her first salute from her father, Staff Sergeant Retired Johnny Warren. Would Chelsea Carter please join Lieutenant Warren on stage to be recognized for all you've done on her behalf? On behalf of the Military Officers Association of America, Army Chief Warrant Officer Retired Jim DeBose, and Air Force Captain Retired Sarah McNaney will present each new lieutenant with a one-year membership to MOAA and a second lieutenant rank gold bars.
All right.
Please join us for one more round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the playing of the Army song. The words are printed in your program. Our cadets and you lieutenants will sing along. We encourage you to do the same.
March along, sing our song with the army of the free. Count the brave, count the true, who have fought to victory. We're the army and proud of our name. We're the army and proudly proclaim. Let's to fight for the right and to build the nation's might. And the army goes rolling along. Proud of all we have done, fighting till the battle's won. And the army goes rolling along. And it's high, high, hey, the army's on its way. Count off the cadence loud and strong. So wherever we go, you will always know that the army goes rolling along.
On behalf of the Military Science Department, I would like to bid you farewell to our new lieutenants and wish them well on their future endeavors. This concludes our commissioning ceremony. At this time, you're welcome to take additional photos and join us for refreshments in Brooks Memorial Room 212. Again, thank you for attending, and please join us in congratulating our new officers.